Today, I wanted to talk to you about relapse. And relapse is actually just part of the journey in dealing with substance use disorder. Although I'm talking about relapse in a little different way today. I'm talking about the family's relapse in terms of sending the money, feeling the crisis in the moment of when you have a loved one who is dealing with substance use disorder and they are in active addiction and they call you, there's a major crisis, they've been arrested, all of the things that happen, the roller coaster ride, the things that show up that completely disarm you, surprise you, that is the nature of this disease. And sometimes we make decisions, we draw our boundaries, we're clear about how we're going to react, and then crisis shows up. And in fact, we relapse. We renege on our boundaries. We give money when we had committed that we wouldn't. We bail them out of jail because we're afraid that something will happen to them. We let them back into our homes. We relapse on our own side of the aisle. And I know there were times when I made commitments that I would not give Sam money, and I went ahead and did it. And I knew in the last moment that I did that I had in fact relapsed. And so I want to talk to the family members today to let you know to have some grace and compassion and empathy for yourself. This may in fact happen for you. And what kind of brought this up was I was meeting with the client last week or 2 weeks ago, and he's an executive, he owns his own business, it's a very thriving business, and he was having a different kind of relapse. He's a workaholic. And he had an employee leave that he really thought was going to take the business over and take it forward, almost like a son that he was training up to inherit the business. And that is, in fact, not what happened. And he's still grieving the loss of this man who was his right arm in the business, and he thought that he would be transition the business to him. And in the course of his own grief and his own crisis around this, he relapsed and stepped right back into workahol mode. And he was at this crisis point with me a couple weeks ago because he realized it. He was right back in an old pattern that absolutely was destructive for him, and he was in pain and distraught about that. And we had a conversation, and I encouraged him to be empathetic, to be proud that, in fact, he did notice that he had relapsed back in being a workaholic, and that there was a reason for this. He was still dealing with the grief and the loss. And instead of doing the things because he's running a business in dealing with grief and loss, he hired a couple people that were not up to par in terms of skill sets to run the business. And the workaholism comes for him in the form of needing to spend all of his time training these two men up. When in fact, based on his time frame, there's no way he's going to be able to do that because they are just that far away from being where he needs them to be in order for him to transition his business. And so he was sucked back into the vortex that he in fact created by hiring people that were not up to par. And therefore he created his own workaholism again. And I think in some ways that's what we do as family members. Based on a crisis, and we haven't done enough of our own grief work, our own healing work, something shows up, and we're pulled right back into the enabling, that notion of we need to fix this, we need to change this, we have more control than we think we do. And our greatest Stepping stone is awareness. If you can catch yourself from an awareness perspective more often, more frequently, shorten the time frames between awareness, you are making progress. And in fact, progress is success. So you get off the roller coaster, you get back on solid ground, you recommit to the boundaries that you set, the actions that you agreed that you would take. You step away, you give yourself some breathing space. You are more compassionate with yourself. You understand the journey more now, and you recommit. And I would encourage you to set an intention every morning about the recommit. Set an intention every morning about the boundaries that you are going to be living into every day. Recommit to taking care of yourself. Recommit to a mindset of, it's not mine to control, it's not mine to change, it's not my fault, and I can't fix it. Recommit to a mindset and a heart set of living your best life so that when the person that you love pops out the other side of addiction mode and back into recovery, they will find a thriving parent, spouse, sibling. Be the thriver. Show them the way. It is, in fact, possible.